Hey everybody, Brandon here from IDUP Hockey, joined with Dason, who is the Senior Product Manager for True Hockey. Thanks for joining us today. We've got an exciting new hockey glove line, which is the True Catalyst. This is an incredible improvement over the years past. So let's get started with first the fit profile. How is this going to fit on the hand, and what kind of maybe style of players you guys geared for?
Hey, Brenny. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a tapered fit glove, right? So it's a more contemporary looking fitting glove, a little bit tighter on the back of the hand. But we've been really careful to make sure that as you get into the cuff section, as you work your way up in the glove, it gets a little bit looser and really gives you that flexibility when stick handling. And really, as a player profile goes, it's for every style player. It has all the protection you're going to need if you're a guy really going into a lot of corners, taking a lot of impact, or one of the guys that aren't getting quite as dirty into the corners. It's got it all for you. So you got your flexibility, your performance, and certainly your protection as well.
Right on. Well, I mean, there's a ton of new improvements this year. So the first things first, I mean, just looking at it, we're seeing a huge difference. So, let's start off with that exterior and what you guys have done there, and then we'll dive into protection.
Yeah, sure. So as you said, it's really changed from the ground up. We've put a lot of work and a lot of effort and years into making this particular glove what it is. From everything from a refreshed design team to a refreshed manufacturing process, it's really a huge step in the right direction and a nice refresh for the line. So on the outside of our 9X Catalyst 9X glove, you're going to notice three different materials out here, including a nice PU leather that gives you a real premium look, both right on the top of the backhand and here on this molded cuff. So it's a really good looking glove. We've moved away from the traditional embroidery to a nice TPR branded logo. It really makes it look like a premium piece. So it's a great looking, really sharp looking glove. And you'll notice too, it has a much more contoured shape to some of the breaks and the sections of the glove. It doesn't look nearly as blocky as some of the gloves do out there.
Right on. And now getting into that protection, we're seeing an incredible design that you guys have done this year, pro level protection. Can you kind of walk us through what's going on with the EPP foam and what you guys have done to change things up?
Yeah, sure. So, in a traditional glove, we use a foam layer with a PE board or polyethylene board on top of it. And what this does, it gives you a nice soft feel on the back, so it makes impacts on your hand, and that PE board on top to kind of distribute the load or the impact and to give you a little bit more protection. And this has some great benefits and been used for a long time. But there's also some negatives that come with this. One of which is PE board by itself naturally is always going to want to flatten out. And you start to lose some of that shape, right? You see this a lot on, for example, lower price point pants in the thigh area as you see them to start to flat out. Has the same very, very similar construction. So what we've done in a lot of the areas, this actually has a dual layered foam inside of it. And this one, in fact, does not have a PE board. You'll notice a few things. One is we've got two different densities bonded together, but really almost more importantly here is the contours around the edges that are getting away from these straight edges that you see. And that's by design. A glove is designed for your hand to close and feel very comfortable. What it doesn't do very well is allow your hand to open up, and those breaks and those pieces of pads, they run into each other and it constricts your movement. But by a design like this and putting two taper layers next to each other, it doesn't only allow you to move this way, it allows you some flexibility coming out as you open your hand as wide as you can. So I think players are going to feel a big difference when they put their glove on their hand for the first time and they close it, they'll get that familiar flexibility, but when they open it, they're going to feel more freedom than they're used to feeling, which is something that we really focused on a lot. And that's in multiple areas. As you look into the backhand of the glove, we actually have construction like this, as you see in our hand, that's replacing a construction like this. So if you just look at the complexity, the time, the effort, the number of dies that have gone in to make these improvements, it's significant. We have three different layers of foam here with a PE board on top. We use this in areas that aren't necessarily contoured or bent because I don't want any PE board to be flattening anything out of the glove. I want it to really hold that structure. So in these models, we actually use three different die shapes, three different cuts of foams, bond them all together to make one piece of that glove protection of the backhand. So no shortcuts here. It's the hard way to do it. but it's a new way to do it, and we're seeing significant improvements by doing it this way.
Right on. And there's a similar story behind that three-piece flex thumb. You guys have totally redesigned that as well. So could you walk us through that?
Sure. Yeah. Up to this point, all of our gloves have had a two-piece thumb. We started from the ground up to design a three-piece thumb, and what we've done here. So we actually have two different break points, three different pieces in the thumb. You'll find this construction on our Catalyst 9X and our Catalyst 7X glove. So even at that mid-level price point, you're getting a three-piece thumb that you really aren't seeing from many other brands right now. So it's a really, really nice touch. It makes a significant difference. Obviously, the more movement, the more breaks, whether it be on the backhand, the thumb, the fingers, the better movement and the more comfort you're going to have.
Wow. Awesome. I mean, and it looks like there's no sacrifice in protection, just the way it all moves together.
Yeah.
Now another huge story is, or did you have something to mention on that thumb as well?
No, I was going to say the same thing with the fingers. You know, we didn't touch on the fingers, but we do have three-piece fingers all the way across except for that pinky. So your ring finger, your middle finger, your index finger, we have three pieces there, two breaks as well. So again, just leaving every stone unturned and trying to make this thing as flexible and comfortable as we possibly can.
And it doesn't end there because there's a huge story behind this cuff as well. So take us through what you guys have redesigned.
Yeah, sure. So if you look into the cuff, you got a beautiful, I like to call it flower petals, right? It's just this five-piece cuff that not only do we have five separate areas here, we have a molded cuff. So this is a molded piece that's also on an elastic to allow that flexibility. And if you really look deep into the cuff here, you can see where my fingers are touching. We actually have another layer of elastic that connects the cuff to the base of the glove, just again, allowing more flexibility throughout. So if you can really have a good freedom of movement with this break, whether it be with your wrist directly down or your wrist directly up, that molded cuff creates a really nice seal on your arm to give you protection and comfort. That's a really unique design. And again, we see that at all three price points of our glove. We've really tried to push that across the line.
Incredible. Lastly, on the 9X here, Axway palm. It's an incredible feeling for your stick. So kind of walk us through, what Axway really does for the player.
Yeah, sure. So Axway is just a fantastic material. They do a really good job over there at developing and producing some of the best materials in the world. And we've partnered with Axway for years now to put their materials in our gloves. And this glove, particularly the 9X, you'll find an Axway in both the base, the overlay, and even the gussets here, giving you this pro-style gusset. And the reason for this and the purpose for this is as your fingertips kind of poke through other materials, it leaves you exposed a little bit on the fingertip. So allowing, using a material like Axway, which does have a surprising amount of elasticity to it and a three-way stretch to it, but still really holds you confined in the right place. So, nothing in our opinion is going to put you in contact with your stick like the thinnest layer of material you can possibly have. Obviously, the problem with thin layered materials becomes durability. So finding a high performance, high grade material to use for the palms is absolutely critical to the feel you're going to get in the glove.
Totally. Working our way down, 7X. If you were to pick these two gloves up, it's hard to tell a difference. There's a lot of similar features. So maybe just walk us through just some of those key features that, that maybe elite level players going to find at a more approachable price.
Sure. Yeah. As we talk through all those features we just talked about, the foam makeup, the foam layering, the way it's built, it's all the same in this glove. Even down to the three-piece fingers, a three-piece thumb. These are features you frankly just don't find at this price point. So that flexibility in this whole line has been very key to us. Here you do lose that PU material that makes it look a little bit more traditional. But you still do have the TPR branding, TPR accent lines, really, really solid looking glove. Cuff, of course, as I mentioned, is the same. The big key differentiator between our Catalyst 9X and Catalyst 7X is the palm itself, where we have put Axway in this overlay to really give you that resistance, durability, and abrasion resistance from it. We're at a traditional black Nash on the base palm and have gone to a Lycra gusset. So the protection, the flexibility, the feel of the backhand and the movement, very, very similar. The real big key differentiator here is the palm itself. And, as I said before, I don't think anything rivals Axway materials, particularly the materials we've chosen. But for a more price conscious guy, this is a very, very solid glove that's going to outperform most gloves out there.
Awesome. And last but not least is the 5X. Pro level protection, absolutely incredible to see at this price point, benefiting a lot of players out there. So walk us through the 5X.
Sure. So as you get down to the 5X price point, we do have some aesthetic changes, right? We move to a more traditional embroidery, screen printed accent lines. We do have 2-piece fingers and a new 2-piece thumb on here. So our previous gloves did have a 2-piece thumb, but again, in this entire line, we wanted to start from the ground up. So we redesigned even our 2-piece thumb and invested in a whole new line of tooling for a 2-piece thumb. So the 5X again does have a 2-piece in it. And as you see this 2-piece design and the reinforced backing of it to really make sure that we go after the safety of the player and the thumb, where you don't quite have as much flexibility as you do on our other lines, you're extremely safe here. And some brands, some products use cheap plastics, don't really pay attention to what plastic's being used, and it's just kind of a component in the glove. We're ensured we're using very high grade plastic materials that are going to hold their shape, they're going to hold up, the durability is going to be very, very solid, and a nice firm fit and feel on your thumb itself. So again, the construction, the foams all the way across, everything I just talked about the 4 layers, the things that we're doing to try to do right, and the flexibility are still here in this 5X at a great value for that price point. The palm is a more traditional palm here. So we do have Nash on Nash, so a traditional tan Nash with a black Nash overlay, Lycra gussets. But a really, really nice feature of this 5X glove at this price point is that cuff design, excuse me. It didn't change one bit all the way through that entire product line. Whereas you'll see a lot of gloves at this price point just have a big 1-piece cuff around it. We actually still have our 5-piece cuff, and we still have our molded flexible piece as well. So it's really, really nice. You're still going to get great durability or great motion and movability and flexibility, just like you see there all the way down at our lowest price point glove.
Just absolutely loaded with value. Totally.
Yeah.
Thank you, yep. Jason. Man, it's been a pleasure having you walk us through the line. I appreciate it.
Brandon, thanks for the time.
No worries. And then for you guys at home, if you guys want to get your hands on any of these awesome new Catalyst True Hockey gloves, head over to icewarehouse.com.